Welcome to this edition on Hot Seat on Sri Lanka Live. He is the chief organizer for the ruling party, Sri Lanka Freedom Party for the Boral electorate, and also the managing director of one of the leading business corporate groups, namely Sumathi Group of Companies, and also known as a leading business magnate here in Sri Lanka. And at the same time, he chaired two telecommunication organizations, namely Sri Lanka Telecom and Mobitel Private Limited. At the same time, was the president of the Board of Control for Cricket here in Sri Lanka, director of the International Cricket Council, as well as president of the Asia Cricket Council. With me on Hot Seat today is Honorable Thilanga Sumathipala, the member of the Parliament. Welcome, Mr. Sumathipala. First, we'd like to know, what's your take on the current political landscape here in Sri Lanka?
Well, if you look at the post-war position during the war and pre-war, right now, me as a member of Parliament from the capital, which is the city of Sri Lanka, we believe we are on the right path. And therefore, we have to blend the experience of whatever we have gone through in the past and to articulate that into a document where we can have a very progressive development program for the state. Mm-hmm. So, in that context, I come from the city and educated my entire life being in the capital of Sri Lanka. As you mentioned when you introduced me with various experiences in various disciplines, I strongly believe we have something to contribute from what we have learned in our private life, and then go into public life. It is at the end of the day for the people of this country. So in that line of thinking, we are cleverly, very carefully measured. Program is being put before the people, and therefore we believe with the leadership what we have in that document, as a politician, we are definitely on the right path at the right time with the right program.
Do you think that people have faith in this line of programs that the government have put forward?
Well, I think it goes without saying. If you look at what people are looking in from a government point of view. We have a wonderful document before people, Mahinda Chintane. We had it in the past, and after the war in 2010, we put it Mahinda Chintane Future Vision. And this is the next line is for the new one, which will be launched very soon with regard to our next 20 years of the game plan for the country to be a developed and a country where you can sustain your development. So, what I can tell you is, when we are a big government, in the sense we have more than 17 parties, coalition, put together to form the UPFA. Yeah. UPFA is an alliance. So when you become an alliance, you work with political parties. Each party has got their political ideology. So that is why they have a different party. So those ideologies will agree for the minimum things what they can agree to form an alliance. Mm-hmm. So it's very difficult to hold on to different views from different ideologies in 17 different parties. So you tend to have cracks coming up here and there because you can't sustain, especially when you are a powerful leader with a document which is addressing most of the needs of the people. That document which is agreed and accepted by the masses of this country, it's very difficult to find the small groups of people saying, here we have a policy, we have a principle, this is our party, this is what we believe in, right? So obviously, when you look at 50 years ago or 60 years ago, when you look at UNP, MEP, Mahajanek Satperuna, then formation of SLFP, yeah. All these people had their reasons, they believed what they were doing right at the time, then they formed a new party that came up. But I would like to put this as three different areas, like before 1977 or 83, 1970 to 77, with very restricted Sri Lankan economic policy with Mrs. Bandaranaike, we had a lot of controls. So soon after 1977, when former President J.R. Jayawardena came into power, he had a liberalized kind of a open economy, and then it went up until 83. 83, what happened? we believe the gap between the people who had money and people who were really poor, got widened. So as a result, you have seen the war situation erupting in the northern part. In 88, you had another war going in southern part with JVPS. So that has taken up until 2009. So that is during the war. We know the pre-war. Now we are after 2005. Last 5 years is our post-war situation.
After 2009.
After 2009, it's post-war 5 years of life, what we have gone through. We had to find a balance. Why we had a war, what was the reason, and who are the people who got victimized out of it. As a country, how we got backward. We have missed a lot of opportunity. While the world is moving forward with the information, communication technology is moving so fast, Sri Lankans were lag behind. We were behind the whole race. We couldn't compete because we had a war going on in the country.
But Mr. Sumathipala, now after the war, now 5 years have gone, what has happened to this gap between the richest and the poorest?
Well, I must very clearly say this to you. We had poverty level 29%. People couldn't have a per income of less than, people had less than $1.3, which is about 150 rupees today's context. 150 rupees of income per person up until year 2000 in this country was 26%. Now it has dropped to 7.5%. So our poverty level is slowly going down. That means we are eradicating the poverty. Then it comes to a minimum income level. The government officers will get minimum of 18,000 basic salary plus the other benefits. They'll get minimum 25,000 from January next year, which is another 2 weeks to go. So 10 years ago, their basic salary was 6,740. So that means we are slowly distributing the wealth of the state, and we only had 780,000 people working for the state. Now 1.5 million people are working for the government. That is called government service. And then when you look at the middle income level, expectations are growing. We have 21 million mobile phones. If you look at the children away, look at the old people away from that, at least 15 million people are using 21 million mobile phone connections in this country. What does it mean? Now we have to pay water bills, we have to pay our electricity, we have to pay our mobile phones, we have to pay our rates and taxes. Our income has to go up because our day-to-day expenditure is slowly going up, which is a fact. If you want to develop, you have no choice. You have to increase our capacity with regard to the basic needs of the people. This government, we believe, basic requirement of a person is giving them shelter, decent drinking water, roads, education, and health free, national health free of charge. So these are our basic needs, which we are providing to entire state, entire 20 million.
But, Mr. Sumathipala, don't you think that 80% of the resources, the national resources, are being experienced by only a 20%, maybe a very elite group of people in the country?
No, it's very unfair to say that way. You see, you take a developed country and take a very poor country. You can't stop people having extremely rich people in a country. You can't stop having poorest of poor people in even USA. You go into a railway station, you will find some beggars begging in the New York City. You go to New York City and you will see people are just bringing their carts and selling as a self-employment person as equal to any part of Sri Lanka. You can't say this is a country we don't have poorest of poor people. We can't say we don't have any rich people. We are all equal. You can't say that. But what we have to find here is a balance. Most of the people, 80% of the people are equally getting the benefit and sharing good education, good water to drink, good environment to breathe, and have their values going. So look at what we have gone through 30 years of our life. We have not taken our priorities into people. We have taken the priorities from people to the war. Now we are bringing our priorities back to the people. What does it mean? Look at their education. Look at their needs of getting about in life. While we are looking at that, we are going to secure the revenue for the state. Revenue means income. Income can't come within the country. Then we have to look at the economics of the whole exercise or whole scenario. Then we have to look at, while we are maintaining our economics level and maintaining our development level, while sustaining our development, attract foreign direct investment. If you don't have the foreign direct investment, no country can survive.
Okay, we'll come to those lines a bit later on. With me on this edition of Hot Seat is Honorable Thilanga Sumathipala, Member of the Parliament. Welcome back. You are watching Hot Seat on Sri Lanka Live. With me is Honorable Thilanga Sumathipala, Member of the Parliament. Mr. Sumathipala, you were touching on the free education, free health and so much other free facilities available for the people of Sri Lanka. But if you come to the real scenario, can a normal patient go to a dispensary at a government hospital with the prescription, and will the government hospitals be in a situation to look after the patients the way it should be?
Well, I think we are doing it extremely well. I know a case in London. For a bypass, it takes 2 years. You go to England and ask for national health, for do any kind of a surgery for your kidney, 2 years waiting list. Test will take 6 months. There are huge complaint in England at the moment. Similarly, because they have a separate insurance system and so forth. Here, you can just walk into any maternity home, you can go to nursery level or very primary level, then you go to your local doctor, then you go to the local hospital, then local base hospital. A very serious situation, you can be transferred to a high end of a technical hospital. I think if you look at especially last 5 years, I mean, we have invested a lot of money for the health sector. And if you look at last 10 years, I would think mainly due to our war situation. A lot of surgeries, a lot of people have to go through difficulties during the war, trouble we have experienced. We have invested quite a lot for the surgery part of it. And I can't come across at the moment anybody is saying that I've been to a hospital that I was not treated. I haven't come across, because the thing is, people would have a choice now. They can opt, if they have money, to go to a private hospital. So private sector hospitals are equally improved. And can you say anything that you can't get done in a government hospital that you can get it done in private hospital in Sri Lanka? No. Every surgery, any highest, latest technology in the world, if they have it in Sri Lanka for a private hospital, we have it in the state. So any developed country would have allowed the private sector to go and to grow. We have allowed it to grow. We have allowed the private sector to grow the way they want to. But haven't we competed that with the private sector and the public sector? We did. And the public sector has beautifully parallel expanded to help the people and serve them, while we are allowing the private sector to grow. And if they can't go beyond this, what does it mean? That means even a capitalist, open economy, society, even if they have come here and stopped the public sector help, they can't go anything beyond this. So that means our policies are right, principles are in order, and we have done right what is good for the people.
So that's about the health sector. But about the education sector, now, yes, the number-wise, the government has increased the investment, but not as a percentage-wise. Today, at the 2015 budget proposals, the percentage has come down. How do you respond to this?
In the health sector?
No, the education sector.
No, it has increased. It has increased. You are spot on. This is absolutely more than ever before.
That's a number-wise, but not the percentage-wise.
Absolutely for the percentage-wise. We have to look at from the GDP versus how much money we are spending for the higher education, for the secondary education, primary education, and nursery. If you look at the entire, from the child of the age of 2.5 to 3, from the nursery to the primary school and to the secondary school and to the tertiary school, which they go to the universities. You look at the pyramid, highest ever investment gone in for this budget for the education sector. We are improving the hostel facilities. We are spending more than ₹1 billion on their hostels for the university students. O-level students, 1,000 Mahinda schools with laboratory facilities. Unbelievable. I don't think, if you look at...
If that is the case, why does want the government to privatize the education, like, bringing in foreign universities to Sri Lanka?
Well, we have more than 47 universities already in Sri Lanka, except the medical field. I mean, we have maths, science, art, so many private universities in this country. It's doing very well, and even the state universities are allowed to work with their partner universities worldwide, going to MOUs, bring the knowledge into Sri Lanka with Colombo University, Monaco University, Peradeniya. They are also having a lot of relationship with the international universities. I think the way we are formulating now, if you leave another 3 years, by the time we come to 2020, 5 years down the line, our education situation, or especially university students, you will see a lot of people flying to Sri Lanka because of our facilities, the surrounding environment, ambience, as well as the way the students can get their benefit of studying with equal or better way of studying any part of the world.
Okay, let's come to the topic, the economy. Are we too dependent on China and not the traditional markets?
Well, it's a case of what you have to look at is we have missed two opportunities in this country. In 1970-77, when we wanted to continuously control the economy and go, we missed it in 1977 by opening it up. Then 83, after the war till 2009, we lost our opportunity. When you say opportunity, the world is growing. Sri Lanka is lag behind. So if you don't invest into technology, and if you don't invest into new mechanics, new theories, new knowledge, you can't compete with the world. So what we have to do now, you can't look at unsuccessful stories. You have to look at successful stories in the world. How did Japan develop? Why? How did Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong is doing at the moment? What are their strengths? What are the good side of India and what are the difficult areas of India? So Sri Lanka will have to have a Sri Lankan game plan to win. So in that context, we are beautifully planning our economic program, and in that we need to borrow. We need to borrow money to invest. We must get the best deal. If China is giving us the best possible interest rate, why shouldn't we take it from there?
But the opposition is coming up with some allegations saying that...
What is the option of alternative? Ask them to give us an alternative. Ask them whether they can borrow money from their friends of USA, Europe. Ask them whether they can bring money for the interest rate that we are getting from China. Unmatchable. So we are independently negotiating, borrowing money from Chinese Exim Bank. If they give us the best deal, there's nothing wrong in it. And we don't have any commitment of our development program, our strategic investment with regard to China. We have given our coal plants to China, India, Japan. We have given look at our investments in this country. It's across the board. Malaysia, India. Look at our networks. All over the people have come and invested, Middle Eastern countries. So Sri Lanka is not confined to one economic power to control our economy. That's not the case. But if we are to grow, people are demanding quality. People are starving, they want to grow, get up and run fast. Sri Lanka government can't sit and wait and say, look, let's go to England and get some money. Let's go to France, Germany, Italy and ask for some money. Wait for the World Bank to give us money. They will give you a list of items. This is what you should do to get this much of money. We need to have Mahinda Chintana, our own vision. A program, a document articulated and done by us. What is best for Sri Lanka?
But don't you think that this current relationship with China is quite detrimental to our relationship with other donor countries like the Western, especially with India, our closest neighbor.
You tell me, where is USA getting their money from? Highest amount of money USA is borrowing from outside USA.
That's from China, but that's a different story.
So if USA can borrow from China, what is wrong? Sri Lanka is borrowing from China. This is all, it is sad to see our opposition had never been in power for a long time. So they don't understand. They can't fathom what's going on. They're all still living in ancient times and they can't adjust themselves with the real life. Whereas His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa is giving a leadership, our government is articulating our document in such a way which is best for the people. And we can match. We can ask anyone to come to table and discuss, debate, argue with us with any project this government has invested into, whether they can make it better. I don't think there is any alternative plan. But opposition is doing is, whatever decision that we have taken, whatever action we have taken, they are being critical and criticizing of our program. Ask them, okay, if this is not the right program, let them come out with the alternative. I don't think they have a program or alternative. So therefore, we are on the right track, right path with the right leadership. There is no doubt we need to have the consistency. Consistency is very, very important and essential for a country's stability. Stability based on political stability. Political stability means a good leader with a vision who can carry forward. Therefore, we must support Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa. Make sure he continuously be at the top of this situation, at the helm of the country's political situation, where we can, over the next 5 to 7 years, transform this country into a good developed country.
With me is Honorable Thilanga Sumathipala on this edition of Hot Seat on Sri Lanka Live. Welcome back to Hot Seat on Sri Lanka Live. Mr. Sumathipala, if the government is in such a stable position, why not government take this election, which will take place on the 8th of January next year, so lightly and face it quite comfortably?
We are facing very quietly. We have no issue. That is why we are going for elections 2 years in advance. We are confident. We can go before people. We are very confident about people and their thoughts. We have done a fabulous work over the last 5 years, especially after the war. We have so much of confidence in the people more than anything else. But as I said to you before, you are a coalition. There are so many small groups of people who have got their ideology with their political parties. Therefore, they have to find something bigger, better, or something to go to the people, which people will believe it is better than Mahinda Chintane. So they find it very difficult at the moment. Therefore, there are small groups getting up together. They feel that they should be heard. I think at the end of the day, I'm telling you very frankly, you come to January 8th, you have only two serious candidates. One is His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa. One is our former secretary, number 6 in our party. President, Prime Minister, Speaker, Leader of the House, Chief Government Whip, then comes the General Secretary of the UPFA, and comes the Secretary of the party. I mean, the opposition couldn't find at least 11 equal man to fight or give a good competition. Because therefore, I know very easily, I can tell you very frankly, Mr. Sirisena, who was our secretary before, he is no match to Mahinda Rajapaksa at any forum, any angle, anything in politics at the moment.
But there are a lot of parties associated with the UPFA have now crossed over to support Mr. Maithipala Sirisena. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's actually, we are also as a very serious...
Is it because of the policies of Maithipala Sirisena?
No, I mean, even from SLFP, we have seen through what happened during the war. There are people who got together with very extreme lines. So we can't be entertaining them and say this country only belongs to one segment of people. We can't say this is only belongs to single Buddhist only. There are Islamic, Hindus, Christians, you name Malay. So this is a Sri Lankan country. This is not a single Buddhist only country. So if we are to entertain such people, then we can say let's Helur may be with us, or with Muslim Congress be with us, or Tamil Congress be with us, or Hindu. We can't do that. We are not a alliance which is only working for some segment of this country. We are for the entire nation. Therefore, those people who are with extreme thinking will always find it difficult to work with UPFA after the war. We always knew that. But our fair play has to be equal to all the people.
So the government was prepared for this?
Well, I mean, we have told many people, the war is over. Today you can't go and say, look here, this area belongs to this segment of people only. We have to look at developing the country and eradicate what happened in the past like terrorism. There is no peace without a development. There is no development without a peace.
Right. After 8th of January, what would happen to executive presidency?
Well, I mean, we are of the view the executive presidency is important, but obviously we are looking at various areas to improve. We are also within the party articulating a fabulous document. Let's finish our presidential election first, and then we are going to come back to the people. We are going for another mandate before our general election. And the general election, we will say what we are going to do and how we are going to do it. And obviously, we will be committed for that.
What would be the reaction of the Tamil diaspora to a victory of Mr. Rajapaksa?
Well, I mean, they have been critical with the current government because from the day that we have eradicated Prabhakaran and the LTT, their representation all over the world had been very, very critical. We only have 15 million people in the world as Sinhalese. There are more than 100 million people living all over the world who are Tamils. So we are a minority in that context in Sri Lanka. But the worldwide we are a minority. Though Sinhalese are majority in Sri Lanka. So therefore we have to expect the people living in outside Sri Lanka who are not even Sri Lankans, when you are Tamil, they have that sympathy towards Tamil people to say, look here, this is what you should be doing, this is what you should not be doing, and so forth. But we have actually handled it very well.
One last question, Mr. Sumathipala. Why should someone vote for Mr. Rajapaksa on the 8th of January and why not Mr. Maithripala Sirisena?
Actually, you should be saying, why should anybody vote with Maithripala? Give me one good reason. I'll give you 100 good reasons why you should always vote with Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa. There is no doubt about it. There is no comparison, as I said to you before. There is no match. This is for the head of the state. You can't have a head of the state, somebody who has to lead from the front, take this country to the next level, who is going to be listening to A, B, C, D, and who is virtually representative of someone else. Mahinda Rajapaksa is not a representative of anybody else. He is a representative of Sri Lankans, people, UPFA, and leader of our party, and he is leading from the front. He is the man for the job. We have to make sure he is the one to be voted.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thilanga Sumathipala, the Honourable Member of the Parliament, talking to us on this edition of Hot Seat on Sri Lanka Live. Do catch us with us tomorrow as well at the same time to another exciting version of Hot Seat on Sri Lanka Live.